Okay, so for this podcast, I am just going to cover 3 terms from our chapter. I'm going to cover the terms memory distortion, false memories, and eyewitness testimony. The first thing I'm going to do is memory distortion. The idea that information can be remembered incorrectly when interfering information is combined with the actual information. For me, that means, let's say you have a witness to a crime, and I know that when you're a witness to a crime, you're supposed to avoid any discussions about the trial, avoid any extra information about it, like pretty much stay away from all of that. Memory distortion could be, let's say, a witness to a crime overhears information about the trial, or they hear information about what happened that can influence their memory. They can now all of a sudden think that they remember seeing a certain thing happening when in reality they didn't. It's just they overheard it, and so now they think they remember it. It's kind of weird to explain, but I feel like that makes a little bit of sense. The next thing is false memories, which are untrue or altered recollections of past events. Let's say like a witness heard info about the crime and it altered their memory of it, or all of a sudden they have this new memory. It's like, oh, all of a sudden I just remembered I saw this. It's a false memory. Another example of false memories could be, I was watching an episode of Dr. Phil. It's my guilty pleasure show. And there was a case that 2 parents were divorced and they had kids, and there was just kind of custody stuff going on. And the mom was actually planting false memories in her children's minds. And what I remember from that is the dad had told Dr. Phil about how he had asked his daughter where she had gotten this bruise on her arm from. And I guess his daughter looked at him and said, well, Mommy told me to say that you gave it to me, or Mommy told me that you did it. And I mean, that's false memories. I mean, you tell your child, oh, your dad did that to you. That's planting a false memory, especially if you know it didn't happen. And that's I think that's a pretty good example of false memories. And I mean, it's pretty easy to plant false memories, especially in kids. Like, that is definitely something that can be done. Last thing I want to talk about is eyewitness testimony, which is a testimony given by a witness to a crime after the crime has already been committed. That can be influenced by biases, experience, and emotions. And there's 3 tips for interviewing a witness that I kind of like that were in the book. And it's encouraging voluntary information, caution against guessing, and then don't lead questions. And leading a question is, instead of asking, what did the person look like, leading a question would be actually asking, did this person have a mustache, or something like that. Like, more specific questions could accidentally say, well, yeah, I think the person did have a mustache. It's kind of just leading questions. It's really easy to accidentally lead a question. Again, I had an assignment in school where we were like solving a case and stuff. It was back in grade school, and we had to come up with questions that weren't leading, and it was so hard to do. It was one of the hardest things we did as a group. Was like, that's what took us the most time, was coming up with those kind of questions. But I guess that's all I'm gonna cover for this one. Thank you. Bye bye.